Good day, welcome to another session of Cooking with Herbs from Stodels Nurseries. Growing in my garden at the moment is a lot of fresh rocket and coriander, and all year round I have lots of lovely fresh mint. So these are the herbs that I've chosen to feature in our recipe today, and we're going to be combining that with salmon, which we're going to prepare in a sashimi style. So it is primarily raw. We are going to pair that with a little bit of asparagus, also a lovely fresh spring vegetable, and some avocado, which I love to add just because it just adds a bit of that nice creamy texture. Our fresh rocket, the varieties that are familiar to me, are the nice garden rocket, which is more like a lettuce, like a soft, tender lettuce. It's got a nice peppery flavor. You also get your wild rocket, which is a little bit finer and tougher and has a much more intense flavor. Our second herb for today is coriander, a much more tender herb, lovely to bring that Asian flavor in. Some people don't care for it very much, so it can be substituted for another herb, perhaps like Italian parsley or basil. Our last herb for today is mint. It is, however, quite a strong tasting herb, and it is more on the woody side. So you do want to make sure that you're pulling the leaves away from the stalks when you're using it, and also not using as much as you might want to use of your slightly more lettucey, softer, tender herbs. Asparagus, being so tender, can overcook rapidly. I simply put it in a flat container and pour boiling water from my kettle until the veg is just submerged. Stir it around to make sure that they're all equally covered. And depending on the thickness of your asparagus is the length of time you'd want to leave the asparagus in the water. Freeze the Norwegian salmon first to make it easier to cut, because we are going to slice it wafer thin. Usually when you buy portioned salmon, it has the skin on the reverse side. So before freezing it, you want to cut away the skin and just trim away the skin and place it then in a Tupperware or a Ziploc bag, and then you're going to want to freeze it. I tend to like to take mine out about 45 minutes before I want to cut it and shave along the sides of the salmon so that you're getting the thinnest possible slices you can. Once you have your slices, you're going to layer them onto a plate. Into the saucepan, we've added a blend of sesame oil and olive oil, which we are allowing to heat up to a searing, smoking hot temperature. The heat of the oil is essential to very lightly cook the salmon we're going to pour it over. Once you've allowed the salmon to thaw a little, pour that searing hot, smoking hot oil in a thin drizzle over the fish. Now to make the marinade. Now this is kind of like a salad dressing for our salad, but because the oil is separate, it doesn't work as a standalone salad dressing, but you'll get the picture as we work through it. I'm going to be adding a combination of soy sauce, lemon juice, and the juice from our pickled ginger. We're going to start with some lemon juice, where we want to use fresh lemon juice or fresh lime juice if you can get the limes. I'm going to put a bit of the soy sauce for the saltiness, and then some of the juice from the pickled ginger. Just mixing it lightly with a fork, and then drizzle the marinade generously over the fish. Now we're coming to the part where we're going to collect all of our herbs that we want to put on top, and it kind of becomes the salad part of your dish. So you want to be generous with the herbs. So the rocket itself is, you can use whole, and with the coriander, the stems themselves are quite tender, but again, if there are any coarser stems, you can pull them off. You're wanting to pull the tender leaves from your mint away. I want the herbs still to have a lot of body, so we don't want to chop them too finely. So we're going to just cut in very broad strokes across the herbs in one direction, and then perhaps again in the opposite direction. So really keeping them nice and fluffy. Using as much pickled ginger as you enjoy, pull it apart a little bit and add. It doesn't have to be too much because it can be quite overwhelming, but just to have a generous helping of the pickled ginger in between your herbs. We're coming to the final assembly now. So we want to have all of our various ingredients separated out, and you want to prepare it just before you serve it so that it still maintains that lovely, bright, vibrant freshness, which can wilt quite quickly if you do prepare it too soon in advance. We're going to begin by adding some of the lightly blanched asparagus. Down the center, going to be adding our avocado on the top. And now we're adding our final flourish of herbs, which really are the crowning glory of this dish. We're going to finish it off with a little bit of toasted sesame seeds. Now for the best part, having a little taste. Wow. I hope that salad has inspired you to pop down to your local Stodels and stock up with all those fantastic spring herbs and vegetables that really will enliven your kitchen. See you next time.